Hey everybody, welcome to Lighthouse Learning. Today I'm going to share with you the strategies that actually work before exams. So these were what I did a month before the exam. All right, so let's get started. So the first strategy is in NEET, we have like 50% biology, importance to biology should be given. So you should never ever, uh, there should not be any day that you don't touch biology. So biology must be there every day in your schedule. All right, so study one chapter from biology every day and stick only to NCRT. Like, don't go for the coaching module content. Uh, unless you're like thorough with the NCRT, don't ever go to the other coaching or other materials. Stick only to NCRT. Revise previous year papers along with it. Like, once you're done with the lesson, let's say the living world you're reading, so once you're done with it, either you can just finish the book back NCRT book back questions, like some important questions, and along with it revise the previous year paper as well. Okay, or else the other thing which you can do is you can finish it unit wise. Like, a unit will contain four chapter, right? So after finishing the theory of all the four chapters, you can go and finish all the previous revise all the previous year papers entire for the entire four lessons. Okay. And another important thing is, just before the exam, you should always have this pictorial memory of all the diagrams given. Parts are really important. These diagrams, generally when we study theory, we tend to ignore. So this time, like, since this will be the last revision of yours, you should not ignore any diagram, and every diagram should be noted very carefully. All right, so this is all about biology. Moving on to the next, which we have for chemistry. So once you're done with biology schedule, so in your schedule the first preference should be given to biology. Next is for your inorganic chemistry, because these are highly scorers, like high scoring subjects, right? So you should not skip these and go for the others, unless if you're like very weak in physics, then give the initial 5 days, then you start off with this strategy, starting with biology, chemistry, inorganic and all right. So in chemistry inorganic, it's just like biology. You should study inorganic every day, except that it's really vast. So what I would suggest is, like, if you're starting, if you're on the 30th day from the countdown, what you do, start with a very tough lesson. Okay, like if you're in the last 45 days and you're in the 45th day, start with P block, D and F block. Okay, because these are really vast lessons which are in class 12, and studying just once will not help you. So you should just revise it again. So what you do, start off with a tough lesson for inorganic, like P block, D and F block, and then practice the previous year MCQs as usual. Previous year MCQs are really must. So once, if you're like starting off with a tough lesson, what you can do at the end, if you're even if you're done with every inorganic chapter, then you can again give another, you can go through it once again through P block and DNF block, because these lessons require 2 to 3 revisions. Okay, so generally for this last 1 month strategy, I would always say start off with a very tough unit. Okay, and you go to the easy one, because you may not get time for the tough one to cover it at the end. So start off with the tougher lesson or the weaker lesson. Okay, so for chemistry organic, again, for this, you should solve a lot of MCQs. Okay, because organic, what happens is we do a lot of mistakes, careless mistakes happen. So you should solve a lot of MCQs and analyze those questions where you have done the mistake. Go back and read the theory, like where you have missed the theory, which concept you have missed out there. And then again, previous year questions. So what happens is, in previous year questions you have certain concepts which are like out of NCRT. So those concepts must be revised again and again, otherwise you'll be forgetting it. Okay, so those out of NCRT questions must be revised, and those concepts as well. Okay, so in organic, class 11, principles and techniques of organic chemistry, I would just emphasize you that you don't not only study these general organic chemistry, all these inductive effect. Rather than that, you should also focus on those techniques of purification, sublimation, crystallization, and all those, okay, those calculations as well. At the end, you'll have nitrogen, all those ammonia, like Geldar's method, all those method, okay. Those, those are also important, so don't ignore that, because that's given in NCRT, everything is important. But generally we tend to miss out, okay, so don't miss that. Questions come from that as well. Okay, for organic, I would like to emphasize on that class 11 chapter, the end topic, okay. So moving on to the next thing, which is physical chemistry. For physical chemistry, formulae are must. Okay, so you should be revising the formulae every day. Like, have a target of completing one chapter or whatever as per your schedule. NCRT book back questions are for class 12 are really important, because there are some questions which are really good and challenging, so revise them as well. And I have seen that in solid state chemistry, some questions are directly picked up from NCRT book bag, so don't miss them. And don't revise every question of NCRT. Just revise all those stuff and highlighted questions, and always keep a check on careless mistakes. Again, you tend to make a lot of careless mistakes in physical chemistry because it involves calculations again, so keep a check on careless mistakes, okay. And yeah, I'd like to emphasize on the NCRT book back highlighted questions. There are some questions which are really important, so I'll try to make another video on important NCRT physical chemistry questions. Yeah. So moving on to the next thing, which is the ultimate, okay, the physics. So the ultimate strategy for physics, what I would say is, each day what you do, like the last month, okay, the last 30 days, what you do is, unless, like, if you're not done with biology, chemistry, uh, chemistry inorganic, don't go for physics. Like, don't go for studying physics concepts, but rather go for solving problems. If whenever you're feeling bored, you go for physics, solving physics problems, okay. But the ultimate strategy which I did was, for the last, like, I did this for like the 3 months in the lockdown. I This was the strategy which I used. What I did was, I took a diary, and every day just read one or two lessons, one or two chapters from physics, either class 11 and 12 mixed, or whatever, whichever is convenient to you, and write it down without seeing. Once you have revised every formula, or else the short notes which you have, okay, once you have revised everything, then you write down and see like how much you are able to remember it. And the concept also, just try to recollect the concept and write down the formula. Now what you do, then check the mistakes in the formula. Like, if you have done any mistake in writing formula, check them. And then this is what is important. So there may be mistakes in your formula, like, you tend to like mix up two formulae of two entirely different chapters. That happens with everyone. So what you do, write imposition. I should not rather say it as an imposition, just a practice. Just write those formulae separately in another page, and write them down uh, 10 to 20 times. And what you do, the next day, if you're like moved on to the third and fourth chapter, what you do, rewrite the imposition, like the previous formula which you have done mistake, rewrite them again like another 5 times, and add them to your list, and go on doing this. So what happens is, this will help you to mm, remember those mistaken formulae, and help you not do the mistake again. So this is really important. I found this very helpful for my physics solving problems. So after this, many formulae were like, it was in my fingertips. So don't miss even a single day. Every day do this, okay. So what I usually did was, whenever like, before starting with anything, first started off with this formula strategy only. So I just started off every morning after doing everything. And when I sit to study, I start off with this formula writing in physics, okay. So don't miss it even a single day. uh, this, I would say, is the ultimate strategy which really helped me in scoring marks in physics. All right, so that was it. And hope this video was useful, and thank you and all the best for you all.